Good morning, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time this morning to join us for this presentation on this Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to you all. I hope you're having a good one. And I wanted to, again, thank you for joining us about this presentation that will discuss Medicare supplement sales opportunities. Medicare supplements sales opportunities with Globe Life are a very competitive opportunity here in New York. There is competitive, stable rates and you pay excellent commission, not just here, but in many states throughout the country, and with stable competitive offerings in many different states. So with that, I want to introduce Joel Bologna, our director of sales with Globe Life of New York, and he will be making the presentation this morning. And at the conclusion of the presentation, there will be an opportunity for questions and answers. And if you have any questions during the presentation, type them into the chat feature there in Zoom. And we will address any questions at the conclusion of the presentation, or if something pertinent pops up and there's a lot of interest in a particular topic, we can address them at that point during the presentation as well. So with that, I want to turn it over to Joel. And Joel, thank you very much for joining us this morning and for your time in making this presentation.
Yeah, certainly. My pleasure. Thanks again, Rob. Thank you for, everybody who's taking time out of their day to join today's call. I know we got really busy schedules, so I try to make this as short and to the point as possible, but still leave some time for questions. But yeah, so thank you to CAFL and group and everybody on the call. I will jump right into it. I'm going to shut my video off to save a little bit of internet bandwidth, and we'll kind of get to going from there. But all right, so a little bit about Globe Life. So as you all know, Globe Life and the market in New York for Medicare supplements and even Medicare Advantage plans has become rather tumultuous. There's a lot of variations that are happening to it. So Globe Life stands really tried and true with our stability and the length of time we've been in the business and so on. So I'm just going to describe a little bit about, where Globe Life comes from and so on, our roots and so forth. So they do go back to the 1900s. Globe Life's been around a really long time. And essentially, I represent Globe Life is kind of the parent company. And there's 9 carriers underneath, a lot of captive carriers and so on. What I represent is the basically the general agency division. That's where the independent agents are. Okay, that includes Globe Life of New York, that includes United American Insurance Company, and that also includes the Globe Life and Accident Insurance Company. So that's where we're sitting today, and obviously we're going to focus on Globe Life of New York. And as far as the size of Globe is a really large company. The difference is that we don't spend money in advertising. We put all of that money back into our agents and our agencies. Okay, so that's why we're going to talk about, the size of our company and where we kind of put our marketing dollars, so to speak. But as you can see here too, with our roots going way far back, and United American is going to be, we'll talk about that a little bit, because you really want to know there's no other carrier in the country that has the amount of experience we have in the Medicare business, which is good to know. Good to know that you're representing a well-established carrier. And we'll talk about the whys and so on. But we do have over $92 billion of insurance in force as Big Globe, over 7.8 million policyholders. So again, a really big company, but we like to say we're kind of a mom and pop style $billion company. So it's kind of interesting. We're A-rated across board for AM Best as well, which is very important. And we're going to talk about the importance of that, because we say it all the time, but sometimes it's good to kind of review, well, what exactly does that mean to you? What does that mean to your clients as well? So let's talk about our national exposure through our sports partnerships. So we are the official life insurance company of the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers. We actually have naming rights to the Globe Life Field over in Texas, which is where the Rangers, fortunately enough, sorry about that, Rangers actually just won the World Series, which is great. That was the second time this decade that the World Series was played at the Globe Life Field. So pretty cool, situation there. We've got our name plastered all over that. We're proud partner of FC Dallas and the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves is a newer partnership with us. They have some of the best fan base period, from a statistical perspective. So that was a really, smart venture that we went into with the Atlanta Braves. So it's just kind of some of the things that we do to, get our name out there. So in the World Series, you'll see Globe Life all over the place. The other thing about Globe Life is that Globe Life has more mailers than most other insurance companies in the country. That means that your clients are going to have probably something from Globe Life in their mailbox, on their counter, or, well, let's face it, probably in their trash can. All right. So Globe Life is a household name, which is a big deal, and very, very helpful. It's just that you're not going to see Globe Life advertised on the television. Okay. One of the things I like to talk about is our service performance records. I think this day and age, the way with, and ever since COVID, I don't have anybody that has disputed this, but I think customer service really has gone down the toilet. And it's really difficult to kind of get good customer service these days. Well, with Globe Life of New York, we don't have that problem. I think we, like every company out there, we had the fluctuation, the adjustment, and so on that needed to happen from COVID, but we didn't lose too much steam, and we're really right back to where we started. So we issue Medicare Supplement in less than 3.3 calendar days. Calendar days include weekends, include holidays, things like that. So we're quick at what we do. Medicare Supplement claims are processed in 1.87 calendar days, and we've handled over 5.3 million claim transactions. That's not dollars spent, that's claim transactions. So Medicare Supplements is our bread and butter. Most carriers out there, it's not their bread and butter. They really have a diversified portfolio, and that can cause some issues, which we've seen in New York, which I'll talk about. But what I like most about our customer service and how we maintain good customer service numbers is because we do not outsource our phone calls. I ran a call center for about 8 years. And one of the things that we found is that any company, period, that outsources their customer service is basically telling their clients they don't care about them. And it's very true. You lose a lot of span of control when you do that. So we do not outsource our calls. Our overflow calls for New York go over to McKinney, Texas, but New York callers are going to basically call in. They're going to talk to somebody right in our Syracuse office. Okay, they're very knowledgeable. The manager out there, Kim Bach, she's got 12 years with the company, and then our VP over there, Jim Savo, he's been with the company over 30 something years. He's been with the company a long time, so a lot of experience when they call in. So your clients are well taken care of. All right. So I always like to highlight our customer service. That's real important these days. And also, if you're on this call and you're not already appointed, you should have received in your email, basically an email comes from Agent Automation. This is the link to get appointed under CAFL. So it's a real quick link. This is what it looks like. Again, it comes from Agent Automation. Could be in your spam, could be in your junk folder. So keep an eye out for that. It takes about 3 minutes to complete. If you're a slow typer, maybe it takes about 7 minutes to complete. So it's very, very simple. So keep an eye out for that. While I'm going through this call, feel free to fill and complete that application out to add Globe Life of New York to your appointment. Now, a couple reasons to write with Globe Life of New York. One is rate stability. So the past 10 years, our average rate increase on a Plan G was only 1.6%, and we don't have a rate increase coming in 2024. So that's a big deal. There's a lot of carriers out there that went up. I heard of a carrier that went up over 60%, their rate increase. And the reason was because they really didn't price themselves right in the market. They were going after a market share grab. So they priced themselves far too low. Yes, it looks good. The clients like it because it's the cheapest out there. But a couple years later, it's just not a sustainable rate. Okay. You won't find that with Global Life in New York. We do our rates based off of our claims history because the way we look at it is that a senior client that is aged into Medicare, well, there's a couple things. One is that their health is not getting any better. That's not how humans work, right? We don't get healthier as we age. Okay. And two is that our income becomes more of a fixed income at that point. So stability, especially with a major medical, is incredibly important. And I'll kind of break that down a little bit as well. So Globe Life of New York is the third largest Medicare supplement carrier by policyholder count and revenue in New York State. So we're big. We have a good amount of the market share. Okay. So when you hear folks that say, oh, I haven't heard of Globe, it's pretty simple. Well, great news. One is because they don't waste their money in advertising. Okay. Two is that because they really put all the onus on the agents to advertise and so on. Two is that there's a 2 month pre-existing waiting period. I'm sorry, number three is 2 month pre-existing waiting period when most carriers are 6 months, essentially when a client didn't have credible coverage ahead of time. It's kind of rare that it happens. Some folks see it more than others, but every so often that's the case. So 2 month pre-existing waiting period. So if you do have a client that is worried about that and they didn't have credible coverage, well, we've got an edge on the other carriers as well. Okay, and we also have the G plus. We're going to break that down, but I think the last time I checked, there was only about 4 carriers that have the G plus in New York State. Only 4 carriers. New York State is small as it is as far as carriers that want to represent Medicare supplements in New York State, because of obviously it's a guaranteed issue state. It's community rated. You have to be real smart when you're pricing out your Medicare rate. So it's, having the G plus is a big deal, and I'll show you how. And we're the only carrier that I know of that pays level for life commissions. All right. Level for life commissions, as long as that business is on the books, we're going to pay you or somebody else, because your commissions are fully willable. The caveat to it and the fine print on this page you can see at the bottom here, I'll read to you. It's basically you just have to have $500 in annual commissions to be considered vested. Okay. And that means that's how your commissions can be willable to your estate. All right, that's it. $500 in annual commissions, not monthly, annual commissions. So it's very easy. That's like 2G plans and you're in type thing. So just an awesome opportunity from a compensation perspective. And the reason too that our customer service is awesome is because we pay our agents level for life commission. So we pay you to service your clients. And through our agent portal too, you'll be able to help them with claims and so on. You can fully service your clients. All right. How to enroll a client in Global Life in New York. So basically, we do have an iGo e-app, and that's right through the agent portal. And I'll kind of show you where to find that if you're already appointed. And once you're appointed too, you could kind of take notes. You do need internet connection to use the process. And so long as the client has to be using electronic fund transfer. So they have to be using basically the debit through their checking account. All right. That is important. That's how you use the iGo e-app. Paper application is another thing that you can use. Can be faxed to this number right here, 972-767-4462. Feel free to take a screenshot of, some of these numbers and so on. That way you can get them under your belt. Paper applications must be used for underage applicants. Just kind of keep that in mind. If you're like writing someone that's 63, maybe they got, renal failure or something like that, then it's got to be a paper application, and those are going to be sent to this address down here. It's a P.O. Box 3125 in Syracuse, New York. So if your client wishes to pay their first month payment with a live check, so they like to write a paper check. My father-in-law loves to write paper checks. It just is the way some folks are. That's fine. We can accommodate. So you just mail the application, the whole application along with the paper check, over to Global Life Insurance Company of New York to this P.O. Box. So very, very simple overall. All right, as far as Medicare Supplement or the Medigap in New York State, I'm going to cover a couple things because some folks on the call may not have any Medicare experience. Some folks may have a lot of Medicare experience. So if you could bear with me on some of the basics that I'm going to review, the point is to kind of cover all the different skill sets and experience levels that we have on this call. So Medicare or Medigap is designed, Medicare Supplement is designed to fill the gap. That's why it goes hand in hand in Medicare Supplement to a Medigap, designed to fill the gap in the cost share associated with Medicare Part A and Part B. The beneficiary can enroll all year round. So this is not like a Medicare Advantage plan where there has to be open enrollment periods, there has to be special enrollment periods, and so on. They can enroll all year round. And in New York State, Medicare Supplement is guaranteed issue. That means that you don't have to ask health questions, okay, to underwrite this. So unlike if you're a big life insurance agent, well, you're asking a lot of health questions, okay? So this is easy. It's guaranteed issue. And there's only, I think, 4 states out of the 50 states in the US that are guaranteed issue states. New York is one of them. We also have a 12-month rate lock. So when you do see a rate increase, rate increases are part of the business. It's going to happen. They are inevitable. We had a couple rate increases on our Plan F, for example, because essentially you're not adding more healthy clients to a Plan F. Folks can only get a Plan F if they were, eligible for Medicare before 2020. So you're not adding folks to that. So it's that specifically you'll see rate increases. Okay. But there's a 12-month rate lock. So when we do have a rate increase, your clients still have a 12-month rate lock. What that also means is that we can only make a request for a rate increase once a year. Okay, so you're typically going to see around February is when we have our rate increases. And if you go to the Department of Financial Services for New York State, it'll show you to the different rate increases that have been requested from the carriers, on their website there. So pretty interesting things. Why Medicare supplements were created. So some basics again. Medicare supplement insurance were created in 1966. So it was basically the Wild West when they were created. And then in 1992, Congress took over and they basically standardized Medicare supplement plans. So that means that a G plan with carrier A is going to be a G plan with carrier B. There'll be no difference in the benefits unless that carrier wants to add additional benefits to it, and that's it. The difference is going to be premiums, and the difference is going to be stability over time. So I was talking a little bit about United American. That's our sister company. That's in all the other 49 states that we represent. First Medicare supplement insurance policy was sold by United American. Okay, United American was also one of the 4 companies that helped the government design the very first Medicare supplement insurance plans. Okay, so it's a big deal. That's why when I say no carrier has been in the Medicare supplement insurance market longer than United American, it's because we've been selling it since it began in 1966. Okay, so that is important because again, one of the reasons that we're called Globe Life of New York and not United American is because, and if you've been in the insurance business for a while, or you know New York State and you sell in multiple states, and you realize, wow, New York State's a lot different. It's a lot harder to sell insurance for some reason in New York State than it is most other states. It's because it is. We have to have a brick and mortar building. Basically, if we were to keep the name the same, then we would have to follow all of the other 49 states would have to follow suit with New York State laws. And nobody likes doing business that way. That's why you have Globe Life of New York. So that's why I do also talk about United American Insurance Company, because essentially they're one and the same, just a separate entity. So why Medicare supplement insurance? Let's talk about the reasons why. I mean, this is about I think a 4-year-old statistic at this point. So this means we have another, I think, 6 years of this statistic. More than 10,000 Americans turning 65 each and every day. It's a very lush market. So if you're not in the senior market right now, it's a really good time to get in it. And plus, there's a couple other reasons, but you can sell Medicare supplement insurance all year long. There's no scope of appointment that's needed. Again, you don't have to record these phone calls. You don't need a scope of appointment. You don't even need a certification. Okay, you just need your health license. That's it in New York State. There's only one state where you need a separate Medicare supplement license. That's North Carolina. Okay, of the 50 states. So no certification required. Very, very easy. And again, like I was saying, if you're not in the Medicare business now, you got to understand your clients are always going to be aging into Medicare, God willing, right? So you can protect your current book of business. That means at one point or another, they're going to need something to support them through Medicare, all right? And through their Medicare and retirement years. Okay, and let's talk about why they're going to need something. So basically, we have these Medicare A/B charts. They probably look very familiar to you if you're already selling this. Basically, these change every year, but it's going to show you what Medicare Part A and what Medicare Part B cover, before a supplement kicks in at all. All right, so just what Medicare Part A and Part B will cover by themselves. Okay, so this is Part A, kind of tells you, all the different variations, and always, keep an eye on this as they change throughout the from year to year. But Part A is basically your hospital insurance. Covers all the costs associated with confinement in a hospital or skilled nursing facility. And there's typically no cost to Part A. And if your client's not eligible for Part A free premium, then they may be able to buy it. Okay, because basically these are paid through the Medicare tax deductions from paychecks during the senior's working years. So in other words, if you have a senior that really didn't work very much, they probably can't get Part A for free, okay? Because it's, again, you kind of see it in your paycheck. It gets taken out if you're not currently receiving Social Security. So pretty simple stuff. That's your Part A. Part B, though, Part B is where majority of the claims are going to come into play for Medicare clients, because it's basically your medical insurance that covers physician services, outpatient care, tests, and supplies. So it's your outpatient stuff, doctor's visits, and so on. There is a cost for Part B. The standard Part B premium in 2024 is $174.70. I think last year we had a slight decrease. This year we had an increase. That fluctuates from point to point. And then some folks who receive Social Security benefits will pay less than that. So basically, you can go to Medicare.gov. It's very helpful. I know CAFL's got excellent support as well, too, so you can ask them any questions. But if your client's making a certain money, that Part B premium is based on how much money they filed for their taxes in the past 2 years. Okay. And there's a tax bracket right on Medicare.gov. Pretty simple stuff. All right. So there are some unique elements to open enrollment periods, or, different things that create special enrollment periods. And I'm going to cover them both. So we just got over, and I say just, I mean, we're almost like 2 months away from this, but geez, almost 3 now. But yeah, your annual enrollment period, right? Because we don't deal, so Globe Life New York doesn't deal in Medicare Advantage plans at all, just Medicare supplements. That's why no, you don't need a scope of appointment and things like that. You don't need a special certification, but you can, obviously change from Medicare Advantage plan back to original Medicare. That opens them up to add a Medicare supplement. And then you can obviously, during this open enrollment period, you can join a Medicare drug plan or switch from a Medicare drug plan to another Medicare drug plan. Okay. And I know CAFLA has, again, some awesome options for drug plans and so on. So that's over with, though. What we're in right now is we're in the MAOP. So Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. Pretty simple. It's a little bit easier to talk about really kind of what you can't do. But right now, if someone wants to, they bought a Medicare Advantage plan, they're like, oh, geez, I didn't realize the max out of pocket on this was $8,000 for the year. Holy cow. I'm not comfortable with that. What can I do? And they want to switch. They want to talk to you and switch back over to original Medicare, maybe get on a G plus or something like that with only a $2,800 deductible for the year. But they can switch from original Medicare to they can't switch from original Medicare to an MA plan. Okay, and they can't, obviously they can't make changes to their prescription drug plans and things like that, but they can jump off of an MA plan, they can move MA plans, right? So it's still a good time for folks that are selling, for agents that are selling a Medicare supplement plan, because again, they could see something they didn't like in their Medicare Advantage plan. So it's still ripe for the picking right now. Still a really good time of the year. There's some trial rights that I want to cover. Now, in New York State, and in trial rights in general, actually, before I get into New York State, trial rights are going to give you two things. One is that they're going to enable your client to jump off of a Medicare Advantage plan, okay, because they create a special enrollment period. Two is that they're going to give your client guaranteed issue rights. The difference is that in New York State, well, everybody gets guaranteed issue rights because that's how business is written in New York State. Okay, so I'm going to focus. It's really just, these are opportunities where a client can get off of a Medicare Advantage plan. So basically, if a client joined an MA plan when they were first eligible for Medicare Part A at age 65, and within the first year of joining, they decide they want to switch to original Medicare. So let's say they just signed up for original Medicare. All right. Just signed up for original Medicare, and I'm sorry, they just signed up for original Medicare. They went with a Medicare Advantage plan. They're in their first year. They can jump off of that and they get back into original Medicare. Okay, so they have the right to buy any policy that's sold by any insurance company. It's very simple. So basically, first 12 months, their first time enrolling, and they chose an MA plan for their first time. All right, they can jump over to a Medicare Supplement plan. That's trial right one. Trial right two is that if they dropped a Medigap policy to join an MA plan for the first time, and they've been in the plan for less than a year and they want to switch back, what they can do is they can actually go back into Medicare Supplement, okay, before they join the MA plan. And as far as a lot of times they have to stay with the same company, right, for the guaranteed issue piece of it. But what they can do is they can still get off of a Medicare Advantage plan, okay, and because it's New York State, it's a guaranteed issue right. So they don't have to worry about that second piece of it. All right. But typically they would have to stay, if it's any other state, to get that guaranteed issue piece of it, you're going to have to stay with the same carrier that they were originally, as long as that policy still exists with that carrier. If they were on a plan F, they jumped over into a Medicare Advantage plan, and now it's 6 months later, they say, you know what, I want to move back over. And let's say they were with company B. Company B doesn't offer a plan F anymore. Now they can go to any company that they want. Okay, so pretty simple. But those are some trial rights that are important to note, because sometimes it's in your client's best interest to move them. Okay, all right. Now, as I mentioned earlier too, if you're already appointed with us, we had a basically an old agent portal. It's called UA Online. They moved it. Now it's basically the general agency portal. This is the login information for it. So it's globelife.my.site.com. If you haven't logged into this yet, and you're like, shoot, I didn't do that, and you're thinking you can get in the old way, well, you can't anymore. So and maybe you can. I mean, I'm not saying we shut the doors for everybody, and we were perfect in that. But if you can still get in, it's not going to last much longer. Is kind of my point. So take this information down. It's got a QR code right there. If you have trouble logging in, call this 888 number, 888-291-7605. That's specifically for logging into the agent portal. Okay. So I just wanted to provide that little bit of information real quick. Okay. So let's talk about rates for a second. All right. So this is basically our rate card. In New York State, we've got 5 different area ratings. As you can see, there's really 3 areas that it affects. So you could kind of look at it like it's almost like only 3 ratings that you kind of have to memorize. Okay. When you look at the rate card, there's a couple of different things. Like over on the right side, you're going to see an effective date. Okay. So that effective date is always going to be in New York State, always be February 1st. At least it has been for years and years now. And you're going to see some different dates. Like, for example, on this top one here, you'll see Plan A has an effective date of 2/1/2023. You go down to basically the Plan A, you got an effective date on the screenshot below that of 2/1/2024. It means that there was a rate change. Okay. But the highlighted G and G plus, those are the most sold plans in New York State. You're going to notice that there is no change because, like I said, no change in 2024 to our G plan, which is awesome. And this is area 4. So area 4 is basically area 3 and 4 is kind of, it's upstate New York, basically. So it's kind of where a lot of will sell, especially if we're doing face-to-face. Now, one line that our top producers are going to use a lot is, hey, look, Mr. and Mrs. Client, did you know that you could save about 75% of your monthly premium by adding a deductible to your Plan F or Plan G? Obviously, this is the G plus plan that I'm talking about, or it's called the HDG in other states. How that works is important because a lot of folks think that they have to, they're going to be $2,800 out of pocket guaranteed every single year, and that's not the case. So, and this has got Plan N in it. So Plan N is really good in other states. Okay, New York State, not so much when you compare the kind of the benefits to the cost. But I still like to talk about Plan N because it is an awesome plan that a lot of it has been up and coming. A lot of agents have been telling me they're selling it to their clients and so on. But in New York, we're going to be looking at this HDG and the G plus and the G plan. So as you can see, if we scroll down here, the HDG and the G plan pretty much do everything the same, except for this calendar year deductible or out-of-pocket annual limit. So you got your $240 for a Plan G because that's the annual Part B deductible for Medicare. All right. And then you have your $2,800 annual calendar year deductible. Okay, that's the difference. So basically what you're doing is you're reducing the monthly premiums, and you saw, to $60 a month by adding a $2,800 deductible. But here's the thing. Don't forget, Medicare, if they're going to be Medicare B, which is where most of the claims are, Medicare Part B is still going to cover its 80%. So how does that look? Is that essentially if you have a total approved Part B doctor claim for $100, Medicare is still going to cover 80% of that, which is $80. The customer is going to be responsible. Your client's going to be responsible then for 20% of that, or $20 in this case. If the annual deductible is already met, then obviously it's going to work just like a normal G plan. Your client's going to be responsible for nothing. Okay. Most clients don't even hit that annual deductible amount. And most of the folks right now too are buying Plan Gs, to be frank with you, but this is a really good plan, especially if you have a client who's looking at a Medicare Advantage plan, and they're thinking, oh my goodness, I like the no premiums. That's great. But what I don't like the network restrictions. I don't like this max out of pocket of $7,000-8,000. That kind of scares me a little bit. And what if my doctor leaves that network? I don't want to lose my doctor. And those are some concerns they have. They're like, but geez, I don't know from an affordability perspective what I can do. Well, the G Plus plan is a tremendous option at $60 a month. Really good option. Max out of pocket being the annual deductible being $2,800. So very, very solid plan. It's really good, especially if you're trying to captivate those folks that are on a Medicare Advantage plan currently. All right, so a couple other things as far as what you want to look at as in a carrier besides rates. So we talked about AM Best rating before. We're A rated, but remember what AM Best rating does? It assigns credit ratings that assess an insurance company's credit worthiness, right? That refers to the likelihood the company will default on its obligations to pay claims. That's tremendously important. So it's basically like a credit report for insurance carriers. And here's the thing: if somebody's got a bad credit report, you're not going to rent them. You know, if you were own rental income properties, you're not going to rent them property. You're going to want a credit score to be a certain level. That's the same that clients are going to want to. And some of the carriers that pulled out of New York, they actually were C rated. They ran into some real problems. And then you have claim loss ratio. So claim loss ratio is the percentage of claims costs incurred in relation to the amount of premiums earned. Basically, for Medicare supplements, what you have to do is you legally have to pay out 65% of the premiums that you take in as a carrier. We have to pay out in claims. We're obligated to do it. Okay. If it goes any less than that, obviously you decrease your rates, but that won't happen, especially in New York State. If it gets too high, that's when you start getting the State Department of Insurance, State Department of Finance for New York State will approve rate increases. So looking at the claim loss ratio, that's what I did. I looked at, there was the best price carrier in New York State last year. I looked at it and I said, their claim loss ratio is through the roof. We're going to see some serious problems next year. And sure enough, we did. That was the carrier that has this huge rate increase this year, and it's just not affordable. So claim loss ratio is important. Years in the market is also important because the basically you want to make sure the carrier is familiar with firsthand market trends. All right, that's pretty important. And then rate stability over time. So when you're looking at there's rate increase history, there's marketing analytics and the various quoting tools and so on. So it's pretty intense. But if you're looking at rate stability over time, we're going to be one of the very few carriers that talks about rate stability over time. Okay. All right. Now we do have a couple of introductory offers. This MedFax kit, we're doing some rebranding, so it's going to come in soon. We got some things in the works for that. But we do have a memorial guide. This is again, it's something that you can order right off the agent portal. Doesn't cost you anything. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, just for sitting with me today, I want to give you this no-cost memorial guide. It basically helps you line up your final wishes. Okay, so puts everything on paper. You could put pen to paper. You know, it really does. It eases folks' minds big time. So that's a no cost to you, no cost to your client. That's something you can give to them. And then we also have an accidental death policy. Again, no cost to them for the first year. Basically, it's $3,000 the insured and spouse. Okay. I don't really talk about the child coverage too much because if we're working with seniors, that's never going to be a factor. Issue ages 0 to 68 or 18 to 68. It's basically there's no health questions. It's very simple. It's not like a Netflix account where you sign up for automatic payments and then forget about it and you're just getting charged. So your client will actually get a bill in the mail after a year. If they want to keep the policy, they just have to pay $10 a year and that's it. So very simple. But again, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, just for sitting with me today, I want to give you this no cost accidental death policy as well. Remind me of it after my presentation. You know, so again, it's a really good appointment keeper type of tool. Agents tend to like it. The only difference is on this one, if you're doing remote selling, you're not going to be able to use it. This is face-to-face only. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. It's face-to-face only. But otherwise, it is great for face-to-face sales. Okay, and again, just kind of bringing the attention to, you have the email from Agent Automation. If you're just jumping on, you jumped on late. The email from Agent Automation, if you're not appointed, that's how you get appointed. You just basically click here to start the appointment process. It's very simple. Take about 2 to 3 minutes to fill out. It's incredibly easy, but check your spam or promotions folder. Again, Agent Automation is where it comes from, or GA Automation at torchmark.com. Okay, that is it for my presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it back over to Rob, and also, you know, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But Rob, thanks again for the time. Really appreciate it. And back over to you.
Joel, thank you again. I really appreciate that tremendous presentation. It was very informative, and you know that was just a fantastic way to you know, talk about Medicare supplements, the value of Medicare supplements to your business, and letting you know about some of the reasons why Globe Life is one of the premier carriers in the industry. I want to you know, make sure that the producers on the phone or on this call today understand what we can do for you here at CAFL in helping enhance the value that you bring to your clients with Medicare supplement sales and Medicare sales overall. We got excellent marketing and lead generating support. We have 2 new lead platforms, LeadStar Marketplace and Medicare Express. LeadStar Marketplace is a lead platform for most valuable for direct calls, where Medicare Express sets preset appointments, allowing you to meet with clients face to face. And there are co-opting opportunities available for those lead generating opportunities. Also, we can help you get contracted and appointed with most major carriers. With Medicare Supplements from Globe Life. For those who are on a Medicare supplement, they're likely going to need a prescription drug plan. It can help you get appointed and certified with major standalone prescription drug carriers to offer to your clients who are on a Medicare supplement. It can certainly help you out with understanding and implementing the compliance requirements that are more geared towards Medicare Advantage sales. But it's important that when you are working with an FMO, that the FMO that you're working with is understanding and able to communicate to you in a simple terms about what those compliance requirements are. And I'm very glad to let you know that I've got 16 years of experience in the Medicare brokerage space, very familiar with the compliance requirements, how to interpret them, and how to help you implement them into your business. So with regards to technology, you'll see on our website, CAFL.com/Medicare. Our Medicare resource page highlights a lot of the technologies that we offer. Agent Accelerator, through that, you're able to use our enrollment, our quoting tool, our instant quote tool with CSG Actuarial's quote tool through Agent Accelerator to provide instant quotes for Medicare supplement plans. You can also see the Medicare Advantage plans that are available in your areas, as well as prescription drug plans, final expense, and hospital indemnity plans for those producers that have a hospital indemnity available in their state. But unfortunately, those plans aren't available in New York State, but they are available in most other states. So with also our premier quoting and enrollment tool is Sunfire Matrix, that allows you to quote and provide quotes to your clients for Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement plans and prescription drug plans, allowing you to enroll with the Medicare Advantage carriers. So, but it's really exciting to know that with Sunfire Matrix, they have incorporated the Medicare Supplement options as well. So I'm glad to be able to offer that to all of our producers who are appointed with CAFL with at least one of our Medicare carriers. So I do want to open it up to any questions that anybody has. And so if you do have a question, feel free to type it into the into the message center there on Zoom in the chat feature, and we'll be sure to address those. One question I can ask Joel is going to, with the high deductible plans, are those still paired with a reserve fund annuity? I know that used to be an option with Globe, and is that still available?
That is a good question. So not in New York State, but in most other states, it can be paired with it.
Great. For those asking about prescription drug options, yes, we do have prescription drug options available with many carriers. Just feel free to visit our website, CAFL.com/Medicare, for a listing of those carriers and options, and can certainly help you get appointed with those carriers to offer those to your clients. With regards to Medicare Part B premium, okay, good question. Yes, they are means tested, so higher income earners do pay more for their Medicare Part B premium, as well as Medicare Part D too. And I'm glad to send you the chart that shows those income thresholds and what the corresponding premiums would be. It's also available on Medicare.gov. If you were to go to Medicare.gov, just search IRMAA, IRMAA. It's the monthly income adjustment amount, and that will show you what higher income earners are going to be paying for their Medicare Part B premiums. But just to stress the value of Medicare supplement plans again, one, for the agent perspective, again, no certification required to sell Medicare supplement plans. So for agents who are looking to get familiar with Medicare supplement sales, I like to recommend that Medicare supplements are a good place to start. And with a renowned company like Globe Life, you'll see that it's simple. They pay excellent commissions. Again, in New York State, there's no underwriting, so they're guaranteed issue. They have competitive offerings, especially with their high deductible G in states nationwide, and some new offerings in states where they're competitive in Ohio, Pennsylvania, I believe, Illinois. Joel, are there other states that we should be mentioning as to being particularly competitive for Plan G?
For Plan G, yeah, Florida is one of our real good states too. That's an awesome state. And
Excellent.
then yeah, also I'm not seeing the questions in the chat, so just if you see something, Rob, and I'm not answering, just let me know.
Sure,
Sorry.
no worries. And then with the high deductible option, again, for beneficiaries who want to save on premium, but like the flexibility of not having any network restrictions. Again, the high deductible G is fantastic. Reminding your clients too that they can go anywhere to any doctor in the country that accepts Medicare and not have any network restrictions that they may be concerned about with regards to being on a Medicare Advantage plan. Though with Medicare Advantage plans, there is a lot of network reciprocity. So, but there is less, much less network restrictions with the Medicare supplement option, or in fact, no network restrictions at all. So, as long as they take Medicare, which is, about 99% of all medical providers do. So, Joel, that question that has come in is, can you summarize what products can be sold remotely versus the phone versus what products need to be sold face to face? This producer that's asking this question sells in multiple states, New York, as well as Louisiana, and so other states outside of, so within New York and outside of New York.
Yeah, so essentially you have just in New York State alone, the only product that's available on the iGo e-app is the Medicare supplements. Again, as long as it's not underage. And we do have again, this is just New York specific. We do have a DocuSign process built for New York that you can sell our life product remote. We just deal in final expense, maximum $25,000 of whole life insurance. And you really, if you're, you got to really look at the rate cards in New York. But all the other states too, it's like you got the Medicare supplement on the iGo e-app, and then you've got life products on the iGo e-app as well. We do have, cancer, critical illness, but there's a remote process for those things, those products. But it's again, we're kind of working on getting a lot of things integrated into our iGo e-app. So, but right now, so it's a little clunky how it works, but those were the products that you'd be able to sell.
Thank you. Anything specific with regards to Texas? Any other anomalies in Texas?
Nope. As far as Texas goes, no. It's just no other anomalies. You got life, the Medicare supplements, and then same thing. Every other state's gonna be pretty much the same thing. And what I'll do too is I'm gonna share this portion here. These are our hot pocket states for United American, for Globe Life, and for Globe Life and Accident. That way you can kind of see where we're going to be. This is competitive as far as Medicare supplements go. So but that way everybody can kind of see, take a snapshot, and you know, because we are competitive in all states for the high deductible G plan across the board, very, very easily. When it comes to the G plan, though, these are going to be your hot pocket states, and we have these things called rate stability flyers. And basically, it shows you what the 10-year rate history is in these states. So specifically for United American, like these, what's it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 states. The 9 states right here for United American, there's rate stability flyers there, which is, again, these are tools that, you know, and feedback that we received from some of our top producing agents. So it's very, very helpful.
That's fantastic. Thrilled to see that. Thank you for sharing that, Joel.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then just one other thing I wanted to mention too, with Globe Life's portal, very simple, easy to use. If anybody has questions about using that, feel free to reach out to myself, and glad to direct you further to that. And I can certainly bring in Joel and his team if needed on any of those matters as well. So. And certainly, like, I want to also emphasize, I just thought of this, is with regards to what Joel said about customer service. The team in Globe Life of New York, based there in Syracuse, is fantastic, very responsive. Kim and her team do a great job of being very timely on providing quick, easy responses to agents' needs, whether it's policy status or other questions or concerns. They're very, very responsive. So Joel, thanks so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the partnership that we have with Globe Life, and excited about you know, seeing some more sales opportunities with Globe Life in, you know, New York certainly, but and also in those other competitive states that we'll be able to see some distribution in as well. So again, thanks everybody for your time this morning. Feel free to reach out to me at 585-440-2920 with any questions, or you're welcome to email me at rjambroni@cafl.com or at medicare@cafl.com. Again, thanks to you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to speaking with you all soon.
Thanks again. Bye now.